Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another of our webinar series. And we're delighted again to welcome back our friends from Google. More of that in a minute before I hand over to them. So we've had another busy week in retail land, in retail excellence. I think the last time I was talking to you last week, we were talking around staffing issues and the lack of bodies and all that sort of thing. And certainly for those of you that may have been looking at the news on Friday, we got a lot of pickup on RTE, which was great. Certainly we're able to push the message quite strongly in the media last week. So, that was a good thing. And certainly lots of people listening, lots of people commenting on it. And hopefully a little bit of action on behalf of the government on that one would be very useful. Well, I don't know about you, but I am sitting here with looking out of the window thinking we put the heating on for the first time this week. It's getting colder. It's getting more autumnal. And I have to say, I've just looked at 88 days to Christmas. My word, it just feels like we're just out of the summer months, doesn't it? And yet it's 88 days to Christmas. And of course, between now and within those 88 days, we've got our awards coming up, which are going to be run face-to-face, in person, no less, this year for the first time in 2 years. So our in-person awards on the 10th of November, we were delighted to announce the next round of finalists this week, which was the Supplier of the Year, Manager of the Year, and Rising Star of the Year. And next week, I've got Matthew Brown over, and we're going to be doing a bit of a road trip around the country all week, visiting the 30 stores that have reached the final phases of the Store of the Year Awards. So if you're in that category, look forward to seeing you on the road trip Monday to Friday next week with Matthew. And we're really looking forward to seeing some fantastic retail. Anyway, listen, back to Google, and their thing for today is going to be around getting your business ready for peak shopping and the peak season, something we are now all turning our attention to. And I'm delighted to introduce our Google Visual Garage presenter for today, who's going to take this on for the next hour, and that's Amy. So, Amy, over to you.
Hi, everybody. Duncan, thanks so much for the warm welcome. You just scared the life out of me there, saying how close we are to Christmas. Lots of Santa shopping to be done at my end, so must get on with that. So everybody's very welcome. Delighted that you took the time to join us today. My name is Amy, as Duncan said, and I am a Google Digital Garage trainer. I am a marketeer by trade, and in my day-to-day work, I spend a lot of time working directly with Irish SMEs on all things digital marketing. I've been working in marketing about 20 years now. Digital, obviously, mostly in the last 10 years, especially in the last sort of 2 years, it's become sort of omnipresent and an absolute must-do for people and companies in the retail sector. So delighted to be here with you today and deliver this important session on how to get your business ready for the peak shopping season. I am joined by our moderator, Sarah, in the chat. Sarah is there too. She's also a Google Digital Garage trainer, and she is happy to answer any questions that you might have and to share some of your questions with me. Please note there is no such thing as a silly question on these sessions. We are here to help, so please use us while you can. We'll do our absolute best to answer your questions. And if we can't answer them, we will hopefully be able to point you to where you might be able to find an answer, or maybe get back to you with an answer at a later stage. All right, then. So just before we start, I want to go through a little bit of housekeeping. So call out a few things that might help you. Firstly, if you're having any trouble with connectivity on YouTube, try refreshing your page. So try refreshing your browser, and please use the chat box if you would like to ask a question. Okay, if you can't see a chat box, it probably means that you're not signed into a Google account. It only takes a couple of seconds to set one up if you would like to participate in the chat. It's entirely up to yourself. It's optional. As I've said, our moderator will try to answer as many questions as possible, and please do feel free to put your questions our way. And also feel free to check out our schedule of upcoming webinar training in the description box below, which links you through to our website. So that's all the housekeeping done. So let's get stuck in, because we've only got the hour together. So in this session, we will provide you with an overview of market trends to help you identify your audience and the best ways of reaching and interacting with them. So a lot of stuff has happened in the last 2 years. mostly prompted by the pandemic, and it's important that we take time to look at the statistics, the data, and see what it's telling us. We'll also explore how we can utilize online search tools to engage with potential customers, market your business, and drive both online traffic and in-person footfall to your business, because we know people are using now the online space and the offline space sort of in interwoven ways. On top of that, we'll discuss ways in which you can optimize your online marketing campaigns to maximize their impact and provide significant return on investment. It's important to mention that when you fill in the feedback from today's session, you will have access to the content. This is a jam-packed session, so I would encourage you to stick with us, but also review the content again. It will always mean much more the second time round as well. Okay, so let's kick off at looking at some market trends that we've seen over the last couple of years. So in 2020, disruption to the retail industry caused a seismic shift in consumer shopping behaviours, many of which have continued, with stores closed, opened, and then closed again right before Christmas. It was a year and a shopping season of reacting, preparing, and pivoting quickly for retailers. However, as we reflect on 2020 trends, there is some light at the end of the tunnel for retailers due to all of this increased online shopping and online activity that we are seeing consumers engage in. So in Ireland, we saw the impact almost immediately, with Wolfgang Digital reporting that online transactions rose by 44% in March 2020 compared with February 2020. So people turned to the internet. Looking globally, last year was the biggest peak season ever for online retail, with global digital sales growing by 50% to 1.1 trillion. So significant changes. In Q4 specifically, so that gifting season, retail searches grew at a rate of over 3 times higher than the same time last year, signifying a major shift to digital. Rapidly changing societal norms are also making the path to purchase increasingly complex as consumers combine online and in-store shopping experiences in new ways. So, for example, finding items online, but actually going maybe in-store, doing their window shopping online and maybe going in-store then to find those items, because we still have that die-hard cohort who like to touch and feel something before they buy it. The overall rise of e-commerce in Ireland has come fast, with business pivoting online and driving sales and revenue via their e-commerce sites. And this has happened so much so that 68% of organizations have claimed that improving their customers' online experience is a top priority for them. We've also learned that Irish consumers want to keep things local and support the Irish economy in 2021. Really interesting stats here, guys. In the peak purchase period of October to December 2020, searches for Just Buy Irish, Shop Local Ireland, and Buy Irish Gifts increased by 3,000%, 500%, and 200% respectively. Furthermore, in 2021, the phrase Buy Irish grew at a whopping 2,300% increase in January to April 2021 compared to January to April 2020. So lots of food for thought there. If you are promoting Irish brands or selling Irish brands, make sure you're using that in your marketing channels, because that's something you'll be responding to something that people are obviously looking for in their droves. Despite the recent reopening of stores and hospitality, footfall has not yet recovered to pre-COVID levels. I'm sure you guys can see that. What we have seen, however, is a steady growth in e-commerce in Ireland, as we can see demonstrated on our slide here, this graph here. So I think the most important point emphasized by this graph is that the increase is across all item categories. It's not sector specific. This is an indicator of a steady shift towards online shopping. So consumer behavior is changing. It's non-category specific. It's across fashion, electronics, toys, hobbies, furniture and appliances, and food and personal care. We've got significant volumes of people shopping online who never shopped online before. So the point being that while we wait for customers to come back in store, it's important to leverage this online opportunity. Online sales growth has been steady since the start of the pandemic, and even though stores have reopened, shopping behaviours have not reverted to pre-COVID era. It's important that we plan for this consumer change, especially in this gifting season, one of the busiest times of the year for retail. So what will demand look like this year? What consumer trends might last into 2020 for gifting? So let's have a look at some more graphs and charts to see that. So here we're looking at search interest for gifts from 2019 to 2021. So last year, we saw query volumes grow 50% year on year during quarter four for gifts. And a lot of that growth has sustained into 2021. Okay, so query growth for gifts. With current query volumes already close to the levels seen last year. And we can see that on the chart here. Query growth started to surge on the 23rd of October, 1 week earlier compared to 2019. So in 2020, query growth started to surge on the 23rd of October, query for gifts, and that was a week earlier than we saw in 2019. So this shift towards demand building earlier is something that we've seen over the past few years. In fact, last year, 6% of people began thinking about gifts 6 months in advance. That means more than 1 in 20 of us are already starting to plan gifts and make lists. In July 2020, we found that the proportion of generic searches reached 87% in the week prior to Christmas, up from 76% at the start of July. This indicates higher levels of exploratory consumer behavior throughout quarter four. So generic searches could be toys for boys as opposed to Skay Electric for a 2-year-old boy, or mentioning some brand or some more specific search. It could be more toy ideas for boys or toy ideas for 12-year-olds, for example. Okay. So the important tip here is to use tools, including Google Trends. It's a great tool. If you've never explored it, I'd really encourage you to go and have a look at it. Google Trends will show you things like basically things that are trendy. So for example, if we look at Google Trends and the search for men's beard care products, it probably totally correlates with that period of time in which we saw this rise of men wearing beards over the last 5 years. Okay, so Google Trends and Google Analytics, use them to discover what shoppers are looking for from your brand and how to make it easier for them to find them. So we're going to take a deeper look at some of the key gifting trends that we think are set to continue in 2021. Okay. So this chart here shows that the growth in searches has sustained across popular gifting categories. And we can see it's more prominent in some categories than in others. Okay, so the 2020 query growth acceleration has partially sustained across most gifting categories. Okay, so we can see there gift baskets, for example, 105.6% increase. Gourmet foods is another prominent one, as is, I guess, gift delivery, no surprises there, and gift wrap and ribbons. So just some interesting statistics for you to think about there. The shift to online shopping obviously then accelerates expectations of other services and experiences like delivery. We can see here that searches for delivery in the gifting category rose significantly in 2020 and continued to do so year on year right through quarter one 2021. While demand for gift delivery fell once shops reopened, the levels are still double 2019 and approaching the level at the start of October last year. In gifting particularly, we've clearly been seeing consumers browsing online. So for example, a big increase in searches for gift ideas, as well as we all know, consumers in this category are hungry for inspiration and to be directed towards choice. So there you go. Get your blogs written on gift ideas for different age groups or maybe different demographics in society. Consumers are going to Google search for inspiration in this area. So whilst online shopping is booming, the more products sold online and the more e-commerce platforms available, the more choice consumers have. And this can both be a positive and a negative for the consumer. Because nowadays, consumers are navigating a paralysis of choice. Absolutely true. I tried to buy a pair of trainers last night and I had a headache at the end of it. Faced with too much choice and too little time, consumers are looking for shortcuts to make their decision making faster, simpler, and faster and simpler when shopping online. So if you can make the decision feel easier, you're onto a winner, helping them to sort of help make the choice seem simpler. Consumers are both feeling the pinch and are overwhelmed by the choice of products to buy and or retailers to buy them from. They're searching for things like deals to guide them towards the best purchase decision. And in fact, we found that 81% of consumers in surveyed countries across the globe say they've discovered new brands online during COVID-19. New brands, so they're open to trying new brands. The number of searches for deals and best made, the number of searches for deals and best made was up 65% of overall searches, with over 10% year-on-year growth. So they're looking for deals and they're looking for best. Moreover, among consumers who have done most of their online shopping with Irish SMEs since the COVID-19 crisis, 67% say they have done so out of sense of solidarity and a need to support Irish business, So I can attest to that, because I did find myself specifically looking for toy retailers in Ireland as somebody with a couple of children. In Google consumer surveys run between May 2020 and June 2021, it was found that the people who start researching gifts online with a brand in mind always or most of the time has reduced by 18% in 2021 compared to 2020. So we're seeing less brand loyalty online. It could be hypothesized that that in 2021, fewer consumers may approach gift shopping with a particular brand in mind. So they might have used wider search terms rather than defining their search with a particular brand. Note that deals and best searches are made up of search terms such as deals, offers, discounts, sales, and best. 80% of the volume of this group is made up of searches for deals. So think about how you can use that one in your keyword research. Shoppers don't always have a specific product in mind when they search the category they're interested in. For example, mobile searches for best affordable have grown 60% globally year on year. So maybe we're just shopping for bargains in general. So marketing has always been about guiding the consumer and hoping they will purchase your product or service at some point. The best tools we used to have available were brand building marketing tools, which use creativity and mass media to build subtle influences which had lasting impacts, and direct response media, such as TV, radio, newspaper. And that drove an immediate action. I couldn't help thinking about the Pennies Got a Whole Lot of Thing for Christmas ad when I was prepping last week for this section. So with so much choice and information available to consumers, thanks to the internet, new behaviors has developed as people explore and evaluate purchasing decisions. The key message is that recent search behaviors may not change. We may not be going back to a pre-COVID period, and we may experience a new normal in terms of how people consume or do their shopping. We can suppose recent search trends are part of the new normal. Consumers are using more visually engaging formats as they browse. In the last peak, a simple indicator of this in gifting was a 50% spike in the use of, the Google Shopping tab to explore gifts, where it's easy to browse images of products. So again, that makes the decision-making process as a consumer, our perception is the decision-making process might feel a bit easier when you go into that shopping tab, okay? And people are increasingly using that shopping tab. So we as retailers need to have our products listed on the shopping tab then. People will browse product online to check in-store availability, absolutely. And people will use online tools like Google Maps to check how busy a store is. So make sure you're using that functionality in Google Maps, for example. People will increasingly use new ways of interacting with brands like virtual try-on. So allow users to check store information. How to engage customers as they research? Well, first of all, allow them to check the store information and product availability online. So save them a wasted trip. Having a queue to get into store, having to queue to get into stores makes the shopping experience less enjoyable, and not being able to try products on in stores limits the appeal of visiting shops. 25% use online tools. 25% of people use online tools to check how busy a shop is before even visiting. For example, Google Maps. I had this exact experience last weekend when I went to a shop, and I wished I had looked at Google Maps beforehand to see how busy they were. That was on me, the consumer. I didn't do it. So to acquire as well as to retain shoppers, we need to start building a brand presence early. Okay, so we know that YouTube watch time was hugely up last year. Irish people love YouTube. 22 million people are now watching YouTube on TV screens. So it's worth reviewing. So watching on the TV, you know, so it's worth reviewing plans to ensure that this step change in reach is reflected in campaign media planning. So people are also experimenting. So searches for virtual try-on grew 3 times between April 2020 and March 2021. So much bigger interest in that service of a virtual try-on. Probably, again, from those people who typically prefer to go to the store to touch, feel, and try on the item. Apps are a key weapon in the battle to retain your best customers, okay, if you have an app. Overall, app usage grew really strongly last year. Apps are particularly key in gifting, as they typically have triple the repeat purchase rate of non-app users and gifting. And gifting is a category with multiple purchase occasions across the year, where we're often looking to drive frequency as well as acquisition. Okay, so we can use app campaigns, social media, to re-engage valuable customers and get them using it in time for the start of the Xmas shopping period. So that's what we want to do. We want to use app campaigns such as social media to re-engage valuable customers. Okay, so let's have a look at this slide again, some interesting statistics. Okay, so let's look at ways to drive conversion online. So we can see that 42% of e-commerce purchases were made through a mobile phone, with 29% making payment monthly from their phone. So really listen up now, guys, because mobile is really important now. We do know that for online commerce. This is expected to rise to 50% by 2023. So what's the key message here? Optimize your site for mobile and other devices. Make sure your website is optimized for mobile and other devices. Card payments are most popular, with 60% of purchases being made using a card, credit or debit card, compared to 21% using digital wallets and 9% using bank transfers and 7% cash and 3% other forms. So make sure you provide a seamless checkout experience and maybe provide as many options there as possible for payment. Lastly, speed is key. So 77% of consumers are happy to pay for same day or next day delivery. 77% are happy to pay. So consider your fulfillment method. Is your delivery service good enough, or do you need to up your game there and have a trusted delivery service provider? Do we have any questions at this point? I don't think so. So hopefully that means everything is clear so far. Just important to say, no such thing as a silly question. Please do feel free to shout out any of your questions or just general observations or pain points if it helps to share. And we would love to hear from you, okay? So now we're going to look at utilizing online marketing tools. A lot of information in this session. Grasp the headline pieces, and you can watch the session again if need be, to get a better sense of what the best tools might be for your business. Okay. So one of the key tools for online marketers is Google search. So what we mean by that is when people open Google and they search for toys for 12-year-olds, for example. Okay, so this on the slide here, what we have is the typical sort of path to conversion or the consumer purchasing journey. So you guys in retail will all be familiar with this. So the trigger, you know, or awareness, sometimes called awareness, and then exploration, evaluation, and purchase. Okay, So they're the 4 stages we're going to look at. So as you can see, Google search is present in every stage of the purchasing journey. Google search came out top for each statement when compared to other online platforms. So it came out top for each stage when compared to other online platforms. Okay, so these findings are based on the implicit association test to 7,000 consumers across 7 retail categories. And I believe that search was very recently done. Just looking at my reference here at the bottom. I think maybe 2020 or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So so let's have a look at each stage. Okay. So discovery leads to purchase. 80% of people use Google search to find ideas and inspiration. And as a consumer, I would certainly agree with that. In a holiday shopping study run in the States, it was found that more than half of consumers in surveyed countries say that they use search to research their in-store purchases. Furthermore, 30% spike in the use of the Google Shopping tab was found, where people were using it to explore gifts because it's easy to browse products there. Okay, so let's move now to the exploration stage. So 77% of people in the survey said they use Google search to narrow down their search options. There was a 73% growth. There was a 73% growth in retail searches on Google in the UK last year from new or rarely seen search terms. Okay, so people that weren't usually looking online for their products were looking online for them now. This really shows the scale of new online behavior and the importance of being set up to capture emerging demand in such a rapidly changing environment. Google has observed the increased focus that all retail clients are putting on digital acceleration. So it's no surprise that across the industry, you've seen a step change in overall retailer and brands, tech and marketing digital maturity. The most interesting finding, however, was how search was a prominent destination for the moment latent awareness, so exposure, becomes passive consideration, exploration, making more than the typical active consideration and buying moments that most retailers currently use search for evaluation and purchase. So the key message here that Google search is being used at all stages of the shopper's journey or the consumer's journey. Okay, so if we look at evaluation, 79% of people use Google search to find information that can be trusted. So reviews is an obvious example there, searching for reviews after you've decided on a product. Purchase, 79% of people use Google search to find the best deal. So you finally decided maybe what kind of laptop you're going to buy, and now you're going to use Google to try and find the best deal. You're going to type the model of that laptop with best deal or just deal into Google search. And in fact, mobile searches for best affordable have grown 60% globally year on year. However, Google search isn't the only tool. It's an important one, as demonstrated by the slide here, but let's have a look at a few more. So let's have a look. We're going to have a look now at a couple more tools for you guys as marketeers. So Google Ads. So if you're not getting the organic traffic you'd like, so if you're not paying for ads, but you are, constantly updating your website, etc., but you're not getting the level of traffic you'd like to see, you might want to consider using Google Ads and creating a paid campaign. This is a really user-friendly tool, by the way, even if you're not that into tech, etc. It's a really user-friendly tool designed to sort of be, nice user-friendly interface for you guys. So don't be afraid to use the Google Ads tool. You may target keywords and phrases to increase your visibility and the traffic to your site. So this is the search that I want to be found for. When people put in great deal on Amy Huberman shoes, that's what I want my ad. That's when I want my ad to appear, my ad for my store. Okay. So make sure you use advanced targeting options for specific locations, devices, example, mobile, desktop, and tablet, and other criteria to address the target audience you want. So you can address very specific target audience with the Google AdWords tool, which is great. So how do you find relevant keywords to target? A great tool to help you find the right keywords is the Keyword Planner, which enables you to identify phrases and keywords appropriately for the products and for your products and audience. Okay. So for example, you can actually, with Google Analytics and with Google Search Console, I don't know if they're tools you're familiar with, but you can actually see what words consumers are already using, what keywords are driving site traffic at the moment for you. So what words, what search terms are customers using to drive traffic to your site? And you could then put those words into the keyword planner and maybe get similar words that have more search volume. Okay, so just some things to think about there. The second tool is Google Analytics. Analytics is one of the most powerful tools for a marketeer and can help you to define the following: demographics, social engagement, technology used, mobile information, traffic sources, top content, and what leads to conversions. For anybody that's not familiar with what analytics is, it's basically a platform at the back of your website that captures all of the data about the people who are coming to visit your website. Okay, so what age group are they in? What other websites are they visiting? Are they visiting from mobile or desktop? What kind of device are they? Android or are they Apple users? Even what part of the country they're in, and what kind of pages do they seem to spend the most time on, for example? Okay, and what on my site seems to lead to conversion. So great tool there. Google Alerts is a free tool, and so when you enter a search query to Google Alerts, you'll get a sample of the results you'd receive and the options to have these sent regularly through your email inbox or RSS reader. You can use alerts to keep up with industry topics and to understand where things are getting mentioned or building profiles. Okay, so where things are getting mentioned or building your profiles. So Google Alerts is great for brand monitoring. If you set it up, you can monitor so that you receive an alert every time your brand is mentioned online, or every time maybe a brand of product, maybe a range that you're thinking about taking into your store and you want to get a sense of its popularity. You could set up a Google alert for a mention of that brand. It's also a great way of dealing with negative reviews quickly, if you think about it. Because if your brand is mentioned and the review is negative, Google Alerts will notify you immediately when that review is posted online mentioning your brand. Google Trends, on a similar footing, Google Trends enables you to identify popular search queries around the world. So it's more broad. It's a Google Trends you would use to decide, I know my shop needs a new range, but I'm not sure whether to take in novelty socks or novelty toys. So that's the kind of decision Google Trends would help you with. Whereas Google Keywords is something that you would use after you've decided what range to take in. So Google Trends is more an exploratory tool, okay? Enables you to identify popular search queries around the world and to search for trending words and phrases. How many people have been searching for that term? Identify new trends. It's quite a useful tool for finding out just general industry trends, okay? So let's take a few minutes now to explore the customer purchase journey and what tools you can use to connect with customers at each stage. Okay, so so this slide is all about being present for your customer throughout the purchasing journey. So we can see the purchasing journey reflected in the slide here, reach, engage, convert, be ready. So it's sort of akin to the path to conversion that we looked at earlier. Okay, so reach. So every day, hundreds of millions of people turn to Google to find, discover, and shop for what they care about, to find out how to be there. So find out how to be there when they do with your keyword research, for example. So engage new potential customers who are in the market for products like yours, and learn how to better connect with them in moments of evaluation. Okay, and we're going to take a deeper dive into each step actually after this slide. Convert, so to drive more sales by providing a seamless shopping experience whenever they prefer to shop, okay, online or in store. And be ready. Last year was online retailers' biggest ever festive season, so let's plan early for a digital first shopping season this year too. So let's dive a little bit more deeply into each one of these and look at the tools that we can use at each stage, okay? So at the reach stage, you want to use impactful creativity, okay? That's key for visual and inspirational formats, okay? We want visual and inspirational formats so that your brand can cut through the peak noise. So there's a lot of competition out there and you want to cut through that peak noise. This is an area Google can help you with by sharing digital best practice training and even reviewing creative. So Google can even review your creative for you. And I believe that facility is available in the Google Ads platform as well. They will tell you, they will sort of rank your ad for you, tell you how good out of 100 they think it is. So take advantage of the range of visual formats that are available to capture customers' attention. So for example, discovery ads, which use rich and engaging content to reach customers when they're open to discovering something new. So that's when we see, a discovery ad, we might see it on a different website. Given how customers are continually browsing online in a visual way, it's not surprising that we found that campaigns have a much higher return when discovery ads and video ad campaigns are combined. There are new features for video action campaigns launching in time for this peak of 2021. So there's an opportunity to start testing and optimizing them now. Thirdly, think about using smart shopping campaigns this Christmas. So this Christmas, you'll see a step change in the number of companies using stronger automation like smart shopping campaigns. And these can be created in the Google AdWords tool. As well, over half of UK retailers have already adopted these smart shopping campaigns. So smart shopping campaigns target customers with visual shopping ads across across a much bigger range of properties. So you've got the Google Display Network. So that's where your ad will appear in lots of different websites. Google knows the type of people you're trying to target, and it knows the kind of websites that they like. So if you're selling craft beer, for example, you can decide, you can say, I want my ad to appear on a gamer's website. Okay, so you've got Google Display Network, YouTube, and Gmail, because email is a really useful tool for driving customers to conversion, as well as in the Google Search Network. Best in class with smart campaigns. We're basically letting the AI, or the artificial intelligence at the back end, do all of the heavy lifting. Best in class machine learning will do the heavy lifting of targeting customers on different gifting missions. So ads are more relevant to customers, and it's more efficient for teams. You can spend your time working on more strategic stuff. This is particularly effective in the gifting category, where it's almost impossible otherwise to really keep up with the waves of different missions throughout the peak season. We've got the holiday season or the Christmas season. It means we can stay on top of all those new and unusual terms, and it's worth focusing your attention on, as it could make all the difference at the peak. Okay. Just watching my time there. Okay, so with more than 2 billion logged in users each month, YouTube is a proven place for reaching massive audience and driving upper marketing funnel metrics across verticals. Okay, so for getting people to consider your brand, to gain brand awareness, whether it's scrolling through interesting topics on YouTube Discover, or watching product reviews on YouTube as customers browse, they pick up brand and product information and constantly discover constant discovery and browsing can lead to action and purchase. So for example, 2/3 of shoppers say they have purchased products that they have discovered on YouTube. And I think this is sometimes subliminal for the a subliminal effect for the consumer. YouTube has evolved from a singular entertainment destination to a place where people come to learn, stream, and inspire their next purchase. So when watching videos, customers can shift from passive browsing to active shopping when they come across a product that interests them and motivates them to learn more. YouTube is a great tool to build awareness and inspire people to take action that matters to your business. Okay. So some of the benefits of advertising on YouTube are obviously that you can increase your reach. Over 2 billion logged in users visit YouTube each month, meaning almost 1/3 of the internet. YouTube is the second largest search engine after Google. You can use YouTube to drive your sales as you reach more audience and gain greater exposure for your brand. Your business will in turn drive traffic to your site and increase sales. YouTube's the world's largest video network, and the platform enables businesses to share their unique stories and build connections. Everyday businesses just like yours start reaching interested customers by setting up their YouTube channels and creating their own videos. Mix Garage, if you're not familiar with it, is a great example of how to use YouTube well for your great Irish example. Engage with your customers. So YouTube enables you to create interactive, media-rich content which truly engages and includes your audience. It's more interesting, engaging media to use, enabling you to grab and maintain your audience's attention. Okay. And develop brand loyalty. YouTube is a great place for gaining followers and fans. So, for example, if you regularly do YouTube videos on how to use your products, people are going to come back for more of that, aren't they? So that's a good example. So as your reach grows and you gain more subscribers, you can market your content to suit their needs and tailor your messaging, further gaining their loyalty. Okay. So how do you build brand awareness and reach customers on YouTube? Set yourself up for measurable success. Set yourself up for measurable success, okay? So select brand awareness and brand reach as your campaign goal. And remember, you set your YouTube ad campaign up using Google AdWords. You set all of your campaigns up in there, okay? So set brand awareness and reach as your campaign goal, and then select video as the campaign type, okay? And when you start with a campaign goal in Google Ads, you'll see suggested settings and bidding strategies to help you to obtain that goal. So again, the AI is doing its job there in helping us to make the right decision. Use multiple video formats to maximize the campaign's impact. So we've got bumper, skippable in a stream, or non-skippable in a stream. Okay, and you will see examples of that there too. Okay, build awareness with demographics, detailed demographics, affinity, and custom audience. Okay, well, I often think back to 20 years ago, if we had a sense of the incredible targeting tools that we have available now, thanks to all things digital, nobody could have predicted it, really and truly. So identify relevant audience with Google's amazing Find My Audience tool. Okay, you can learn more about how your customers' passions and interests translate into in-market and affinity audiences. Avoid layering multiple audience types on top of your chosen audience. Instead, be really specific with your targeting. Exclude audiences used elsewhere if you have multiple campaigns with different audience types. Why? Because you can increase your unique reach by excluding people who have already viewed one of your ads. Okay. With YouTube, you can use dynamic lineups. Okay. So create separate contextual campaigns using dynamic lineups in addition to your audience-based campaign to maximize reach and awareness on relevant contexts. Okay. And so running a contextual based campaign gives you the opportunity to pair your ads with specific types of content on YouTube that might be a great match for your brand. So there is a reason why I will see ads, why on my YouTube I will see lots of ads for marketing software or kids' toys, for example. Okay, you can even transform your video ad into a digital shop front by complementing your video action campaigns with a browsable product feed on YouTube that encourages clicks and conversions. And remember to measure impact. Guys, there's a huge amount of information in these slides, and I'd really encourage you to just take a few notes. And if there's a particular feature mentioned, you can go and do some more research online. There's a lot of free resources available for learning how to use. So in the Google Digital Garage, for example, you can learn more about how to use these tools and become really confident in their use. So when measuring performance of a YouTube campaign, okay, YouTube engagement metrics, so watch times, views, likes, shares, and comments, provide a basic indicator on how an audience responds to a video. However, the effectiveness of the ad campaign is also evaluated by how it affects the brand's metrics more widely, okay? It's a study which measures direct impact on consumer perceptions, okay? A direct impact on consumer perception of your brand and their behavior within a matter of days. And this is called brand lift, okay? It gives you insights into how your ads are impacting the metrics that matters, okay? So you can have a look at that brand lift tool for yourself. It will tell you things like ad recall. Are people more likely to purchase after seeing your ad? But it is important to consider the fact that your spend needs to be at a certain level before you can use that brand lift, before you can see the brand lift insights for your brand. Okay, so next up we are actually going to look at a video which is going to demonstrate to us how Littlewoods basically used YouTube. Okay, it's an overview of how Littlewoods successful campaign utilized online search ads as well. Okay, so let's have a look at this video. I don't know, James, if you're there, can you roll it?
Littlewoods Island had a not-so-little problem. Its revenue growth was up, but its bottom line wasn't growing at the same rate. Delving deeper into the data, they found that despite driving substantial revenue in high-price categories, it was clothing and footwear that was the most profitable. Armed with that knowledge, Littlewoods teamed up with Wolfgang Digital to reach fashionistas in a cost-effective way, and they turned to YouTube to do it. The integrated V by Very campaign targeted key audiences with seasonal TrueView ads, while at the same time the brand filtered its shopping feed to ensure the products matched. Following customers through the funnel, they served up bespoke ads featuring a series of unique selling points before using lower funnel formats to drive sales directly on the platform, and the results really checked out. Not only did the campaign achieve massive reach, with more than 5 million views and 37% watching to completion, it also ensured 12% growth in margin, a perfect fit for Littlewoods.
Okay, thanks, James, for that. So a real insight into there how YouTube or how Littlewoods use YouTube and search to gain 12% growth in margin. Really impressive. So hopefully that campaign gives you all a little bit of inspiration. Okay, so let's move on to the engage stage. So we'll move on nice and quickly now because we're getting close to time. So we know that shoppers turn to Google to find out which product is best in its category, compare prices, look for sales, and check out the latest reviews. In fact, it was discovered that more than half of consumers in survey countries say they use search to research their in-store purchases. Okay. So how do we engage customers at this stage? Okay, so be the answer when they research. Okay, so that's you with your Google ad campaign. Okay, so what we want to do is they don't always have when shoppers don't always have a specific product in mind when they search the category they're interested in. Okay, so it's important to remember that and to be responsive search ads can put your product in the spotlight with a flexible and personalized ad that's relevant to the shopper. So getting your ad up there when the consumer puts in something like popular children's toys. Okay, drive demand with window shoppers on Google feeds. Okay, 91% of Google feeds users say they took some kind of shopping or product related action immediately after discovering new product searches or brand on their feed. Engage these shoppers as they explore content on Discover, watch videos on YouTube, or look for seasonal deals in Gmail. Discovery ads help you reach up to 3 billion people on feeds across Google and YouTube in a single campaign. Okay, so find customers looking for products like yours. To create awareness from potential new customers, use affinity audience. So the affinity audience is a tool in the Google AdWords platform. This helps you to reach people based on their interests, passions, and habits. Okay. So again, just a quick study, a case study there from Dell. So to expand its footprint in the gaming market, Dell tested responsive search ads for its brand Alienware. So it set up a responsive search ad campaign using Google Ads. Dell was able to reach new shoppers as they searched across Google, driving 25% more clicks and conversions. So impressive results achieved there for what doesn't seem like a huge amount of effort. So when customers are at the convert stage, the last thing you want to do is lose them when they get to that stage where they're ready to convert. So we want to create a frictionless online shopping experience. Okay, so how do we do that? You can use this fantastic tool, Grow My Store. If you haven't used this before, please do use it. It will give you an evaluation of your entire retail site at no charge, including site benchmarking. So how does your site stack up against other sites in the same industry. How is your site for speed? Very, very important. No point paying for any advertisement, no point using any of the tools we talked about before if there's an issue with your site speed, because yeah, you'll drive the traffic to your site, but you know what? Customers are really impatient now, and they won't hang about if your site is not performing quick enough, for example, on mobile as well as on desktop. Okay, learn how to upgrade your website experience to keep customers coming back. Okay, so use the test my site function in the Grow My Store website to test the speed of your site. Okay, tailored insights. You'll also get tailored insights, access personalized market and consumer trends to reach new customers. So a great tool there, Grow My Store. Engage mobile shoppers with app campaigns. Okay, so engage your mobile shoppers today. And mobile shoppers today, more people than ever are turning towards mobile. We know that to fulfill their needs. I do almost all my online shopping on mobile. You can reach these shoppers with app campaigns and encourage them to make a mobile purchase to take another action, like installing your app, for example. To maximize sales, you can optimize your ads to drive in-app value and measure return on your spend. If a customer already has your app, you can re-engage them and direct them to the right page through something called deep linking your ads, okay, if they already have your app. Showcase your products on Google at no charge. Really important point here. So every day, hundreds of millions of people come to Google for their shopping needs. And now you can list your products in the shopping tab and in search at no charge. If you've already used Google Ads, these listings are a great way to boost your exposure. And if you're new to Google, syncing your product feed from your website to the Merchant Center, Google Merchant Center, guys, you need to know what that's about if you want to set up your products on the shopping pages in Google. So syncing your product feed like from Shopify or whatever your site is to the Merchant Center will make it easier for your products to appear in relevant searches. You'll also be able to compare performance reporting across your ads and listings in Merchant Center at no charge. And when uploading a product, it's a good idea to include the GTIN or the global trade item number. Okay, reach new customers and deal seekers across the web. People shop across multiple Google surfaces like YouTube, Gmail, shopping tab, etc. Smart shopping campaigns provide access to all of this inventory through automated bidding and placements, enabling you to promote your products in the right to the right customer at the right time. Advertisers say they saw a 30% increase in conversion when using smart shopping campaigns. Okay. Add promotions to your listings. If you have listings in the Merchant Center, add promotions. And this can also help to boost the click-through rate and increase your conversions. So looking at some general statistics again here now, or festive highlights from 2020. Last year, retail had its biggest peak season ever, okay? With global digital sales growing by 50% to 1.1 trillion. Digital played a critical role in the shopping journey, even in store, with more customers choosing to start their Christmas shopping early. So be ready to drive sales during the holidays. The time is now, I guess. Shoppers spend significantly more in the 4 weeks up to Christmas than they did in the previous year, okay? And then just another statistic there. So 70% of Irish shoppers are open to purchasing from retailers they haven't bought from before. 70%. Christmas shopping was done earlier as Cyber Days became Cyber Weeks. More Irish say they are likely to get most of the Christmas shopping done early in the season than previously. Okay. So I'm going to tip on because we are just getting really close to time. So the key sort of messages are to be ready for the holiday. Make sure that you are visible. So use a smart shopping campaign. Go and discover a smart shopping campaign to make sure you're visible across Google Display Network, YouTube, and Gmail. Best-in-class machine learning will do the heavy lifting for you, okay? Targeting customers on different gifting missions, for example. So ads are more relevant to customers and it's more efficient for teams, okay? Let me see now, okay. Show up, make sure you're there, and inspire customers right across the funnel from discovery moments to providing clear information about products and offers. Make your stance on key issues clear. So if you are stocking lots of Irish brands and doing your best as a retailer to support Irish, or make sure that that's just one stance you could take, but make sure that you're using that in your marketing campaign. Find authentic ways to follow up as shoppers' values increasingly underpin their choices. So by purchasing with us today, you supported X amount of Irish jobs, for example, a little message in their delivery. Upload your products and offers sooner as prices conscious shoppers begin seeking the best deals early in the season. Focus on creating frictional experience on your website and prepare for rapid short-term shift in demands with automated tools. Automation all the way. Baseline of digital maturity has risen with automation key for growth. So guys, I'm not seeing any questions coming in and we're getting very close to time. So I'm going to keep on pushing on. So optimizing your online campaign. So you want to optimize your user experience. So what's it like to be on your website? Automate your ads and deliver local ads. Okay, so in terms of the user experience, one of the most important aspects is mobile speed. 65% of consumers have said they will switch from a poorly performing site to another site in order to speed up the transaction. In order to make a good first impression, as well as to capture those moments of impulse, retailers need to ensure that they have a performing mobile site. So ahead of the peak, we recommend that you perform a site audit using a tool called Page Speed Insights, or you can use that Google Test My Site to check the health of your site and identify the key improvements needed. One AMP is one of the most reliable ways to achieve a performing site, so that's accelerated mobile pages, and you can have a look into what that is yourself, accelerated mobile pages. Measure your user experience. So it's important to be aware of your user experience. So largest contentful paint, first input delay, and cumulative layout shift. These are called your core web vitals, and you can learn some more about them on a tool called Google Search Console, which you will have access to. If you don't have access to it, your web developer will. So make sure you ask your web developer about your core web vitals and how you're performing. I'm not going to spend too much time defining them because we're running out of time. But for example, cumulative layout shift measures stability and measures visual stability and quantifies the amount of unexpected layout shift of a page content that is visible on your screen. So the measures are there in the Google Search Console. If you want to take the name of that tool, you will be able to see how you're performing on those three measures. There are a number of other factors we need to take into consideration when measuring the user interface of our website, especially in the holiday season. But next we are going to talk about automation. So basically making sure your website is user-friendly and that it's really fast as it can be on mobile and on desktop. So supercharger for performance through automation. Use smart content, smart bidding, audience targeting, and remarketing lists for search ads. So smart creatives. So I want to take a few minutes to introduce you to this. Maybe not a few minutes, maybe a few seconds, since we're so close to time. So smart creatives basically allows you to take advantage of intent-based signals across platforms to show the right message to the right customer at the right time. It's a great tool to automate your marketing efforts and communicate with your users. So we've got things like responsive search ads, dynamic search ads, and responsive display ads. So it's worth noting that smart creative leverage rich user intent-based signals which are happening in real time and allow you to show up at your ad to show up at the right time in the right place. So you can have a look at smart creatives. We'd encourage you to look at that area of Google tools after the session. Audience targeting, as we've said earlier, audiences are groups of people with specific interests and demographic information, and that there's great tools available within the Google's ad platform for picking the best audience for your brand, for helping you to find the best audience for your brand, but also to find out not only who they are, but where they are, what they're interested in, what their online behavior is, so that you can reach them at the best possible time and at that moment of purchase. Smart bidding. you'll see some of the benefits to sort of from smart bidding. So advanced machine learning, unmatched scale, and optimized signals. So, I mean, I think the key message is smart bidding is great for advertisers who may be starting out, but also for those who are managing large portfolios with many different campaigns running at the same time. So please do consider smart bidding. Finally, remarketing lists. Okay, so when people leave your site without buying anything, remarketing helps connect with those potential customers as they continue to search for what they need using Google search. It gives smart bidding another powerful signal that these particular users might be important for you, and that there's a high likelihood that they might come back to a website and finish that purchase. Okay, so with start using smart bidding, you need to or to start using remarketing lists, you need to create a remarketing list and add a snippet of code from Google Ads called a remarketing tag to your website. And I'm sure your web developer will be able to help you with that. But there are also lots of free resources from Google to help you to learn how to do that. Okay. Last up, delivering local campaigns. Okay. So searches for available near me have grown globally by more than 100% in the past year. Local campaigns are designed to drive business through your shop door. So if you want people in store, local campaigns streamline the process for you by making it easier to promote your shop across Google properties, including Google Search Network, Google Maps, YouTube, and the Google Display Ad Network. This is a specific format for a situation when a person searches for a product or a service near you. So when they're in the general area of your shop. Local campaigns are focused on simplicity, and all you have to do is add a few lines of text, a bid, some assets, and the rest is optimized to help your users find you. The aim is to maximize shop visits and promote your location across Google property networks. So I don't see any questions coming in, so we will keep moving on because we are just on the button. Okay, breathe. So a lot of content. Please do watch back, okay? So we want you to think about what your next steps are. So one of your next steps should definitely be to check out the new Google for Small Business website, and Sarah will share the link in the chat. This is a one-stop shop to find the right tools and resources for your business, from the step-by-step online success guide to the digital toolkit and tips for dealing with COVID-19. You can discover using this tool how to show up on Google, create or improve your website, test your website speed, reach more customers, and build loyalty and work effectively from anywhere. And Sarah's going to share the link there with the chat. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, your head might be a bit frazzled with all of the different tools that we've mentioned there. But there are a lot of follow-up platforms. For example, the Google Digital Garage. You can go here to continue your learning, and there's lots of learning modules available. Very easy to do, very quick if you want to get more au fait with the digital space. So go to Google Digital Garage, and again, Sarah will share the link. And if you'd like to carry on learning, it's there. You can do any courses 24/7 at a time that suits you. So finally, we would like you to share your feedback. And once you complete the feedback, the form, I believe, is linked in the description box below. And once you complete the feedback form, you'll get a link to download the slides from today. Okay, so all that's left to say is thank you. I hope you got something from the session. Please do watch back the session. We look forward to welcome you again soon to another Google Digital Garage training session. And I would say my top tip would be check out the performance of your website and then do your advertising campaign. So yeah, first things first. So the very best of luck to all of you with the peak season, and it's been a pleasure to present to you today. I hope you have a bumper year in retail sales this Christmas. Thank you.